DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Esport Management, and GGBet.
One match is out of the way, and Furia will be continuing on. Unfortunately for E United, their tournament run is over, but we are in beautiful Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, so there's plenty to enjoy here in the city. They can go out, love the beaches, get some sand beneath their toes. We are continuing on here at DreamHack Open Rio 2019. My name is Bach. I'll be hosting you on the desk on my left. I've got Potter and I've got Dust, who have been joining me all weekend long to break down the action. And we've got a little bit of a tough match coming up because we do have W7M playing off against a team that we know very, very little about. Newly formed. The names are familiar for some of the players that are here, but for us so much, it's a little bit more foreign. It's going to be Redemption POA and W7M.
Yeah, the last-minute replacements coming in for AGO, who had to leave because of kind of health reasons. They're having to kind of come in and fill in. And yeah, even within Brazil, they're not one of the big-name teams. In fact, this lineup is pretty kind of newly formed. Some of these players played together in the past, but none of them have really had very many notable achievements. And then meanwhile, you have W7M, who feels like they've always been in the hunt in Brazil for different qualifiers, but they've always fell just short. I was talking to Bita about this, the Portuguese commentator yesterday, where he felt like for W7M, this was finally their chance to make it to a LAN. There were so many LANs they did not qualify for because like Daytona or Sharks or someone else would beat them, and so they finally made it through this Rio qualifier. So for them, this is their chance to take a step up, and hopefully against Redemption, that can be maybe that stepping stone to at least get maybe a little bit closer towards a playoff appearance.
For sure, and yesterday W7M, I think, impressed majority of all of us. I mean, they showed up, they definitely came out swinging, and they had a very close match versus Valiance yesterday, which was very surprising.
We can take a look at the bracket. You guys can understand what happened yesterday. It was that opener of Valiance versus W7M, where again I went, full heart mode and thought, oh, maybe we'll see the underdog pick here and W7M will come out swinging. And they did do really well. It was a close game, but they weren't able to take it in the end. However, there was some revenge for them as Sharks beat them in the upper match and made it on into the playoffs after beating Redemption POA to start. So it's W7M and Redemption now who are fighting for their tournament lives, or they're going to be sitting in the crowd cheering on the rest of their Brazilian brothers in Counter-Strike. And the winner of this will play against Valiance again. And that is a match where I feel like Valiance does have pressure on them as well, because it's like, okay, we already lost that easy route to a team that people didn't think we would lose to. Now we have to play in a BO3 again. Like, there should now be some pressure on them.
There definitely should be a lot of pressure. And yesterday you heard them speaking of a little bit of a less pressure, but I feel that today they're definitely going to feel that sort of pressure because they are not the underdogs here. They're definitely expected to make it very far into this tournament, if not win it. And so, yeah, that performance yesterday on Train versus Sharks was not ideal.
All right, so we do have the first bans coming out here, Dust. What do you think we should see gone?
I'm going to be really real with you. I don't know anything about Redemption's map pool, so I don't know where this is going to go from their side.
Well, we saw them play Train yesterday.
Sure, so that's a possibility. I know that W7M does not like to play Dust 2, so I'd imagine that could be their first ban. That's typically what they do. It's definitely their least played map, so that's what I would say there. So it's an immediate ban of Vertigo from Redemption. I feel like you could have floated that. I don't think that they were a threat to have W7M pick it, but maybe they know something that I don't.
And they might. I mean, we heard in the interview yesterday, although we don't know much about Redemption POA, these players, these Brazilian players, they are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, they know each other well.
Yeah, and we've seen region versus region. A lot of the times, it can be a lot closer, neck and neck, as opposed to a team playing someone from international.
Surprised to see an Overpass pick from Redemption is because W7M has been playing that a lot recently and actually been looking pretty good with this lineup on. It's been kind of a recent map they've been looking towards. And then, yeah, they just get to pick one of their top two maps, either Inferno or Mirage. They decide to go with Inferno. And now that's a Train ban, so they're going to get to play Mirage in the end. So I feel like Redemption did everything they could in this map pick ban to give W7M every advantage possible.
That's strange that they would ban Train. I guess they were really not happy about their performance on Train yesterday. Although they did lose handedly. We did discuss that their default, if they committed to it and they had a little bit more faith in their abilities to actually execute that, it wasn't so bad. Again, they were in 3 different scenarios where they were up a man, 5 versus 4. They did have the advantage, and that's all due thanks to their default and being able to push and make space on their opponents. And I think if they had a little bit more faith in their abilities to execute that properly, they could have had a little bit more rounds on the board.
I think for me, my biggest issue with that map pick ban is if you are the underdog team, I think it's unforgivable that you've given your opponent, the favorite, 2 of their best maps guaranteed to them if it winds up going all 3. Like, that's an uphill battle already, and then you've added that on top of it. I think that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
For sure.
There's something to be spoken, though. If you're a team that's maybe, got a little less experience together, you're going to pick the maps you feel comfortable on, and there may not be that many. So you're not really counterpicking. You're just saying, like, hey, we've really only had time to practice, like, these 3 maps. We're just going to try to play those as much as we can and not worry about what our opponent's doing. The teams are setting up on the stage, so we'll take a look at the players as they're getting seated and ready to get going into this series. I do agree with you, Dos, though. It is a little bit scary to be going up against an opponent who's got legitimate experience on their best maps.
And here's the thing you got to think about as we're looking at W7M on screen. They have beaten this team pretty much every time they've played them, except for the most recent occurrence. Redemption did beat W7M on Overpass in an online match in the Brazil Game Cup. But when this the team Redemption was called like Santos and C4 with their core 3, W7M always got the better of them throughout this year and towards the end of last year. And now we're kind of going through the W7M lineup. This is a team, again, that Rio was their big opportunity. It's finally the land they qualified for. They didn't make it to Dallas. They didn't make it to EPL. They had several other qualifiers within Brazil where teams, like Daytona and a few others were constantly kind of beating them out. So this was their opportunity to get on a stage. And Pank was one of the players that we highlighted that was really good in all the regional play, but would sometimes struggle in the offline environment. He did show up yesterday. That's a good sign for this team.
He definitely did. And players like we pointed out yesterday, YJ, he was a little bit more quiet on the scoreboard. However, he had really clever movements that allowed him to secure the kills and secure the bomb sites over at that B bomb site. And yeah, I'm expecting more or less the same from him today.
Was it Rio too that had that crazy pistol, like the jumping pistol
the
shots
jumping
on
pistol.
On Mirage?
Yeah.
He had like a 4K on Mirage yesterday. That really jump-started W7M. That was like like maybe this isn't going to be so easy for Valiance.
Also, on top of Pank really rising to the occasion yesterday, I think the other big thing is that Rafa was stable, and I think that was the guy that you always kind of relied on online with AWP to kind of be one of their big breadwinners, and he showed up yesterday as well. So that's a good sign that consistency for him is there, because in a series like this, you want everyone performing because you want that shot at playoffs later.
This is going to be a bit of a tough series here for Redemption. Like you're going up against a team that maybe some of the people at home don't know so well, but they're established enough in Brazil that they've got plenty of experience playing with one another. And, they're a legitimate threat to some of the other teams in attendance. Like, this is a team that, potentially could have beaten Valiance if things had gone a different way a couple times. Like, I remember on Mirage, they had a post plant on A. It was a 1v3, and they all peeked front stairs, like peeked bench. So there was just one player, I think it was Hunter, who was just ramping. He just sprays all 3 down. Like, they kind of made that round easy, and there were several rounds like that where maybe a small misstep cost them a round, and then cost them several more rounds because the money's broken, and now all of a sudden that game's starting to spiral out of control. That game could have been even closer than it already was.
Definitely, and I think it was actually next in that A ramp. It was definitely a really beautiful round from him, but being able to set yourself up to be in a 3 versus 1 advantageous position is good enough as it is, but then you throw it away, like as you mentioned, that's such a nail-biter.
Yeah, I mean, as we're looking through some of these players, at least what we can say is some of the Redemption members did show up individually yesterday. Like FP1 actually did play pretty well, and generally speaking has been one of their better players in the online environment within Brazil. And then a couple other younger players who don't really have much experience against some of these guys who only played like maybe 1 to 3 lands in their entire lives were at least able to put up a performance against Valiance and get that to a really close score. So that at least gives you some type of positive signs. And the other thing is even though that this lineup as a 5-man group is new to playing with each other, again, they're all familiar with one another. We heard it in interviews time and time again yesterday when we talked to the Brazilian teams. Like, yeah, we know these guys over at Redemption. They've been around the scene for a while. We know that they have some good players. And some of these guys have played with each other on past teams throughout the years. So it's not as bad as just a group of 5 coming together with just no understanding of each other. Like, at least there's some basic foundational chemistry.
There definitely is some basic foundational chemistry. And again, they have to just stick to the game plan, stick to their guns, and understand that they have to have confidence in each other and in themselves. I mean, we saw the nerves getting to Redemption a little bit towards the end of their train match. We saw CAD in that 2 versus 1 post-plant scenario where he's just trying to stick the bomb even though the enemy was coming right towards them, and they were in an advantageous position. So in these kinds of moments, those nerves, you got to control the nerves and just keep it simple and secure the win.
I mean, this is a big moment for them, right? This is probably the biggest tournament in their lives, right? So you got to seize that moment. Like, try to put your best foot forward, and this could be the launching point of a career. Because, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of teams within Brazil who are doing really, really well. You know, like Daytona, like Sharks, like you know, Azuris, who comes from Argentina, who plays in that South American region. There's several of those teams that are kind of scrapping around for those South American qualifier spots. This can be your stepping stone to being one of those types of teams down the line.
There's your head-to-head right now. It's Rafa and Cryo for Redemption POA and W7M respectively. 24 kills, 23 deaths for Rafa, but his impact was there. You know, 86.2 ADR. So maybe the numbers don't look all that impressive, but also 4 entry kills, so really leading the charge a little bit as well for the W7M side. I mean, you know, there is something to be said about the power of a pug too. Like, if it's a team that's maybe newly formed or has some plug-in pieces working out, we've seen instances where teams that should have won against maybe a weaker team lost just because they were caught off guard. You know, looking at Furia, for instance, we've already talked about it. Their loss in Atlantic City to a pug of Ghost Gaming, some of the players who haven't played in months, and some of the guys from XE United. We also watched, you know, I've seen Rise Gaming lose the now E United squad, which has been picked apart. The only one left is Moose, to teams that were just pugs. Like, that does happen at smaller events. Maybe not on a stage quite like this, but these are teams with legitimate experience as a whole that are losing to teams of just guys who are really good individually, and that's kind of what you've got on Redemption POA.
And how many times have we seen domestic matchups get really, really scrappy just based on, like, familiarity, mind games, practicing against each other on a regular basis, knowing each other's tendencies, trying to mind game your opponent? We've seen constantly, like, underdogs be able to upset. Like, that happened, by the way, with, like, Heroic a couple of years ago, and they were kind of coming up and upsetting what became North and what became Astralis. Like, that can happen sometimes at these local regional events where, again, there's just so much mind games going on.
It definitely is, and the first map is going to be Overpass. We haven't seen Overpass all weekend. This is definitely a map that requires a lot of preparation, actually. It is not easy to take control of those bathrooms, and it's certainly not easy to get into B-Bomb site.
And it is worth noting that Redemption did beat W7M on Overpass just maybe like a month or so ago, or within the last month at least, in a league match. So that is fresh in everyone's memory. I mean, obviously, if you're the losing team, you look at that game and you probably look at what we need to do better and you make those adjustments. But at least Redemption should have some confidence in this map, considering what they were able to accomplish not too long ago.
We do have some highlights from yesterday as well, and obviously one that's going to be in this package is that Rio's pistol round, that W7M pistol round that started things off, that 4K with the leaping shots. I mean, that was just absurd. The quick flick as well back into the site. This is a 4K total. The last player was in connector. It was just a dirty round. And then we also have some kills from Rafa coming in as well for the opposite side player that we've already spoken of.
And that was actually such a beautiful round from Rafa. His entering ability actually for his unit is really impressive. His crosshair placement here is perfect, and yeah, this was a really tough, I believe, 1 versus 3 that Rafa was put into, and he came out on top. Those kinds of rounds are so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a top 15 team in the world, according to HLTV rankings at least, and you push them to a 13-16 score, I mean, that does count for something, right? I mean, they say that close doesn't count for, you know, horseshoes and hand grenades, but I think it still does a lot for your confidence going into a situation where you're up against an underdog here, and then you have a chance to have another game against that team that you were very, very close to beating. I feel like at that point, the playoff spot, it looks attainable. Like, coming into this, you think, oh, yeah, it should be Sharks and Valiants, most likely Valiants being 1 seed and Sharks being 2 seed, but, you know, Sharks obviously threw a wrench in all of that, and now you have a W7M team who should feel pretty good about going into that game if they can get past this.
Sharks have quietly made it to the playoffs, I feel. We haven't really touched on them too much, and they've just quietly been the first Brazilian team to make it to the playoffs. Very surprising.
We do have some more highlights as well for CAD from the Redemption side. Even though their game maybe wasn't all that inspiring on Train, they did have a few rounds really highlighted by individual play.
Yeah, I mean, his AWP a couple of times, as you saw in that first clip, was definitely pretty proficient here on Train. That's exactly what you need when you're going against Rafa, who on Mirage with his AWP and his entry rifling was also quite successful. And Overpass is definitely one of those maps where you're going to be seeing those duels around the fountain with AWPs or around that party area, and maybe even down Monster or something like that over at Long B. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for both those operators to have impact. In fact, I think that CT opping on Overpass is almost the most impactful weapon compared to a lot of other CT sides. I mean, certainly you could compare it to like Mirage opping as well on CT side, but there's so much that op creates in the early round situations, and so if both those guys are on point, then that could be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things you had touched on, Christine, is that Overpass is such a map that you want to prepare for. Like, it's got this semi-open skybox. Like, there are spots where, like, that tree gets in the way on the A-bomb site, but there is a lot of flexibility with your utility on a map like Overpass, and there's a lot of rotational ability because of control of connector. Like, you really need to exploit that. The question is whether or not a team like Redemption has the experience with each other to do that.
It definitely is. Overpass is a really fun map, especially on the defending side. It's very fast rotations, and so the mobility of the Opera and the mobility of your rotator from that B bomb site to A is very important, and that's why you're going to see the Operas pushing up forward and making sure that the terrorists aren't able to make any space so that they're able to constantly rotate from site to site, and that's really going to put a wrench in the attacking side.
Yeah, this is one of those maps where I feel like on the T side you can't get away with just being like this loose, scrappy team. Like, yeah, maybe that might work a couple of rounds here and there if you're able to get up Fountain and get some bathroom control early and just do something very simple. But whenever the pressure's on and CTs are pushing you down and forcing you to fight for party, or they're forcing you to fight for short B control and you're having to stage up executes, they need to be crisp. Like, your utility needs to be on point, and so you can't get away with pugging Overpass, I think is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you definitely can't. I mean, we've been seeing today a lot of the Operas in this tournament have been getting easier picks. They're not getting very blind, and you're not going to get away with these kinds of plays versus better teams. So definitely use the utility, use the flashes. You're not going to be able to make any ground if an Opera is sitting at party just scoped in on you. So definitely use your flashes, please.
Please, yeah, that's something we've been seeing all tournament long as teams are struggling with that. Dust, it's time for predictions. Who do you got?
I gotta go W7M just because they're the known quantity, at least to some degree. I feel like you're picking the mystery box with Redemption, and I don't feel safe doing that.
Definitely have to go with W7M as well. Yesterday they were so impressive, and expecting the same today.
Yeah, I think this is one of the few times where we'll all agree it's going to be W7M. You know, we didn't see enough from Redemption, and there's just not enough to go by. Just based on the experience as a team in general, it feels like it should be a somewhat simplistic series for W7M to take.
I mean, that's in theory, yes.
In theory.
It should be a 2-0
I have yet
sweep.
to be right, so...
I don't know if I've been right
either,
at
so
all
hey,
either, so...
Let's go with that. I mean, we got like half points for getting close games and games when we predicted against. Like we said, United early, and they went, you know, into overtime a couple times.
How about this? We didn't even get to predict that 6th game yesterday, so let's just all chalk it up as we all got that one, and then you guys got it. There you go.
All right, I like that.
I
Thanks,
I guess we can go with that one. Let's see what the Twitch chat, the viewers at home, believe. I have a feeling it's going to skew somewhat towards W7M. Yeah.
Whoa, that's the...
Somewhat. just a little bit. Yeah, no. That's to be expected, honestly. Redemption is just a sleeper pick of the generation because, like, no one really knows what to expect from this team outside of that one game that we saw, and that just wasn't enough. I mean, and in that one game, we didn't really see anything that was like, wow, that was really impressive. It was kind of like, this was so-so.
It's one of those things where, like, you just saw a couple of individual plays at times. So at least you could say, hey, the individual form of some of these players was, like, up to snuff to be at a competition like this. But I guess, like, the choreography of their rounds, like how they actually played off of one another, that wasn't really as well refined as you would hope. But to be expected, considering that, you know, this lineup hasn't really played that many games together.
They definitely haven't. I mean, if there's one tip I've got to give Redemption is stick to your guns. Believe in yourselves, believe in your default, and believe in your preparation. Even if it doesn't work out, it's better that all 5 of these players stick together as a unit and are on the same page and lose together rather than everyone doing a little bit something different and trying to figure out on their own how to win.
I mean, looking at a map like Overpass, that is kind of an obscure pick for this team. Is there anything we should really is there anything they should really be doing? Like, what is it that Redemption POA should really stick to, like, as a somewhat generic, like, this has to be done? I
mean, you beat them last time you played them on it, so re-implement that. I mean, obviously you want to have a little bit of unique play because you don't want to get caught just getting countered the whole time by them who have probably scouted that demo, so you need to kind of be careful, but you at least know that your foundation works. Like, you at least know that your defaults and your roles are probably where they need to be, so just kind of have that confidence, say, hey, like, we've done this before, we can do it again, and use that to your advantage because it only gets uphill from there. Like, I think we have to highlight that one more time, that the map pick ban, they didn't do themselves any favors by allowing Inferno and Mirage through as the last 2 maps if we get to a third, which are the top 2 maps for W7M and definitely they're most played by a substantial margin. So you need to take advantage of Overpass, like the one thing that you might kind of have going for you. If you lose that, I feel like it's going to be too steep of a climb.
They definitely have to take advantage of Overpass. And, you know, yesterday on Train, Redemption POA, they had a lot of set pieces towards that inner. And they had a lot of success. Now, we don't know if that's Sharks playing a little less up to their ability, or if that was Redemption POA really having a solid inner execute. So I believe on Overpasses, we're going to see more or less the same, a lot of more set pieces towards a specific bomb site. And that could be beneficial, but Overpass is such a large map and you have to make so much space. So if you don't control that party playground area, it's going to be really difficult because those fast rotations are going to come in. So they definitely have to make sure they dot their I's and cross their T's.
And make sure the individual shot, like make sure CAD's AWP is on point. Again, it's so vital on CT side of Overpass. You're going up against Rafa, who was playing really well yesterday for W7M, so make sure that's there. Make sure Cryo, the guy that we featured in the player head-to-head matchup, he had a really good game yesterday with Rifle, so you need that. You basically need to replicate what you did yesterday and build on it even more to be able to fight from an underdog position.
Well, the casters are standing by, and so are the players. They're ready to jump into the action, and good luck, Redemption POA. Take it away, boys.
Okay, we'll do that, Bach. It's all ours now.
Okay.
You guys,
It's yours. You can have it.
You go get some lunch or something, okay?
Okay.
Let the professionals take over.
Yeah.
Well, wait, where are the professionals?
Yeah, we're the professionals,
Are we?
right? I think so.
I think so.
I hope so.
At least that's what we're told. So, folks, we've got the first one on Overpass. I don't know what to expect with this. I'm going in with an open mind. I just want to be impressed by Brazilian Counter-Strike. I came to Rio for Brazilian Counter-Strike and Brazilian barbecue. And, well, now I'm going to have both.
Some food in Counter-Strike, of
Yeah.
course.
That's all you really need.
The Overpass, yeah, it's, who knows what's going to happen here. All we really know is that at W7 are probably the better team. So, as Dust mentioned, this goes in Mirage Inferno. I think it's going to be too scary for
Yeah, she's done.
Redemption. So maybe if they get this map, there's like a potentially fluke a second. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure W7M are more confident and would be able to predict better than we could right now.
So here's the big duel down towards the B site. We've got USPs just popping off. Lots of Ts on the other side, none of which can manage to kill. Other than the first on YJ. They're down by a man. Ollie's tagged up to 36 as well, but at least they have themselves a little bomb site control. And Ollie, he gets hit by the player on short. Good push by Reels and 4 kills for him in the pistol. It's nearly the one-man show.
You can see how patient he was when they flashed him out. 280 ADR in that round. He comes out for the 4K. One flash gets a kill. A second flash pops behind him. He can continue to fight. And that's what's super sick about just like the fact that you only get a quarter blind when the flash pops behind you completely, or not blind at all. And yeah, so they just completely shut down the monster rush. And you think, oh, well, that's such easy utility. It was like, not all the time do you have a couple of flashbangs on the pistol round. So just a really good call from W7M to focus and concentrate that utility in that specific spot. Here into round number 2, there's not a single flash bot for Redemption. It really puts a sour face on me when I see some upgrade pistols but no flashes at all.
Right.
It just feels like the options are just like they go from a couple to 0. And unless you have deagles, it's not going to be really easy to work that many picks, but I think the focus should always be bomb plant.
Real finds the back of CAD. Rafa works down with him, so they could easily just fall out of the bathrooms and leave Redemption in a stranded 4v5.
There's a lot of SMGs here.
Money makers. All the information as well. Look at Riots come through T-spawn, unfortunately for Redemption.
Yeah, like long is like the worst place when you don't have a control smoke. Bathrooms, maybe you get someone close, but here it's just got to be dry peaks.
So stranded and no element of surprise.
The one thing is they at least get to run into the AUG.
Yep. So they're not feeding as much money into W7M, but it's not even a test. Just continuous spray down, and that final kill towards washrooms means 2-0 for W7M.
Yeah, funneled it all together, and they made quite a bit of money and saved a lot of money. Now we're going to have the AKs come out, and we'll see what Redemption are made of. Why did they pick Overpass? Why do they want to play against W7M on Overpass? Those questions answered right here, right now.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
This weekend at DreamHack Rio. I'm down. Obviously, I mean, this is the map that they did most recently win versus W7M. I asked Beta before the game went live, hey, who's going to win this?
He knows.
He said W7M.
Okay.
So I'm full confident.
Was he like, did he make a face when he said it?
Yeah, like a
or-
face like it's going to hurt for Redemption
Oh,
kind of face,
like,
you know?
W7M.
Yeah.
Like, no chance.
Like the saving grace, the asterisk next to the result was, but they did win Overpass lately.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, he just like Dust, our resident expert, realizes like this first map has to be Redemption's.
Okay.
Has to be.
Has to be. Not a great start. This should be a easy round. It's not. It's not going to be that easy, but it could be. They've got the same 4 SMGs. They're playing some of these close positions. There's just a lot of value in having close range guns on Overpass on the CT side. A lot of close angles you can work with. They are clearing out some of them. They got some info here at the top of bathrooms, and they're pushing the CTs back. So they're going to force out kind of a stack that the CTs don't want to do. The thing is that if it's going to be an A stack, it's the correct site to stack. It looks like Redemption are going to try to hit this site straight up.
W7M seem content to hold. We get those B players starting to come up. Redemption have applied 0 pressure to the B site. So W7M prepared for it. Real gets that first kill. Riots just tucked away, gets the advance to the shadows, sees another body coming, but can't keep CAD contained. So much damage here to the 2 of 3 members of Redemption. Oh,
Okay.
Even gets the continual spray down and a third from Rafa.
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, there's 3. You need all of them. So, Rafa, big swing out with that ump. And I mean, we're talking ump over AKs in this point.
Frost just went ahead and did exclamation admin. That's how bad he wanted to pause.
Admin! Get in there.
A very clean round. Lots of money made. Not easy at all for Redemption. You get to see the health bars deplenish. Deplenish? Yeah.
Deplete.
That's deplete. Replenish. Anyways, you can see the health bars go down.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
At long versus these SMGs wide swinging. And Redemption just go ahead and call it a tech pause. Guys, everything's broken. Nothing worked that round.
we've lost 3 rounds. Best 2 out of 3?
My teammates are broken.
My gun doesn't shoot straight.
Yeah, there's replenish.
Yeah, I defined it for you. That's not a thing.
Yeah, deplenish. Not so much.
Replenish and deplete.
Deplete.
It's my effect on you, Launders.
Yeah, the
'Cause I'm-
Connorisms are
yeah.
bleeding onto me.
Connorisms. It's the notorious mixing of vocabulary. And so, the thing is, too, is it's not even. Sometimes it'll be a saying.
Sometimes it's slightly different idioms.
Yeah.
And
Like back against the ropes
Back
instead of
against the
just
ropes?
against the ropes or back against the wall.
Or beat the dead dog.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, dude. That one was like 5 years ago, and the only person who
much
could have
has
told
changed.
you that story is Bach, who I
Yeah.
haven't seen in like 2 years. And of
Right.
course, the first thing I see, he goes, "Hey, beat any dogs lately?" Like, yo,
It's got
man.
a sharp memory. Yeah.
Not bad for an old dad.
And then sometimes you just twist up like words slightly.
Right.
Opportunity?
No. Yeah. Opportunity. I've stopped using it in casts. I'm trying to get away from it.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know what it is. It's if I say it too quick, opportunity. I think that's an N. People hear it, I don't. But what I do hear are the cries of desperation for Redemption. 0-3, they are down, but they're not out. They will come in here with a half buy. We've got armor, CZs, even some flashbangs, plus an opening kill.
Easy CZ frag. That was crazy. That was like almost 1 bullet, it felt like. Not a chance. See if you can line up. See if Riots can line up the wallbang spam. Heard some footsteps in the water. Smoke will be elicited. 2 CTs in B, but they have top stairs control, so they've got to fast rotate in. It's not a bad situation for Redemption, but they only recover a UMP. And that UMP has been disrecovered. I made up a word right there. How'd you like that?
I like it. You can get away with it. Real. Ooh, more damage off the frag. Tries to spray it down, but can't manage. Redemption, not bad for a pistol armor round. They've got their paws back on the M4. Haven't been able to retrieve another primary weapon, but they have a 4v3. They've got a smoke double flash they could use to get into this B site. They are leaving an anchor in CAD, but looks like they want A.
Good patience. Shut on the flank. They know W7M want to try to come back into this. They got to look for a kill. 4v5. They can't let that go. So.
Ooh, it's going to be a big play from Rafa.
Yeah.
Gets that flank off.
This is big. It's 3v4, but now 3v3, and they're all coming towards the same side.
Dang, Riots. He's on one. High octane shots.
Won't be a free bomb plant, especially not on this side. Rafa.
There it is.
Takes him out.
Stops the bomb. They know Frost Store is here somewhere, and he has to double back. 10 seconds left, and his gun's dry, so he's just got the sidearm. Needs to plant. Prioritize it.
Oh my
Goes for the
goodness.
duel.
Ooh, okay. Gotta respect it. Gotta respect it.
Coulda.
Had a small chance to go for another plant as well, but it did feel like he was probably going to put the bomb down just for the money. He wouldn't have been able to, though, so it was good read by him to try to take the duel. Duel came to him. He just couldn't win it. So attempt at the 1v2 goes flat. W7M up 4-0. They've got better guns every single round, Connor. Now they've got an op. Redemption also have an op, and we have yet to see cast CAD. See what he can do. Oh, yikes.
Ooh, took ladder damage.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Damn it, Gravity.
Gotta miss the gotta hit the pallet, obviously. It's pretty quiet at the moment. Standard spam's coming out. Redemption not working too hard right now. Min 27. I kind of want to continue with the round. Smoke out to bathrooms. Could be an op hit here. Yeah, a couple of chances. Rafa will at least get some information and can stay somewhat aggressive behind this Molotov. The CTs are comfortable playing almost 3 on site. It's not going to be easy to take A. So far, Redemption have played pretty consistent about, you know, what site they go to.
Yeah.
Move up to A slowly, execute on A.
There's decent defaults too. They've been able to get bathrooms control. We haven't had W7M, you know, hyper extending into party, shutting them down at like the back depths of Fountain, but oh boy.
He's gonna go for another one.
Real oversteps his welcome. Now, this is gonna lead to a good rotation back. This B setup shouldn't be prepared, but they will lay down the smoke.
They've got a perfect for monster if they stay here, but they've smoked it and they've moved off slightly. So the op pick does its job. And there's door control here for the T's. Swings open. That'll alarm the CTs right in front of the smoke. YJ, is he going to be offered up kills or are he just going to get traded out right away?
Oh, he's so close to it. It's going to start to fade. There he is. He strikes, but he only gets one. Cryo's able to stop the bleeding. Pank has a slight angle into the site. Riots is going to cut off that short control. Now Pank just needs to stop the bomb. It's already been stopped, in fact. 4 seconds, no time for the plant. Redemption, they go into this late B execute, and it costs them.
Is that after time?
No.
No? Okay.
I said no before I thought about it, but the answer is no.
Okay.
I felt certain.
They did recover. They'd save 1 AK. Probably didn't need to die in that situation. There was no chance they could have won. And W7M win another round.
That was so close to collateral.
Yeah, it was close. It was a nice pick, too.
Ooh.
That was also a nice pick, yeah.
You know, blow him out in the elbow.
Oh, to another default.
Here we go.
It was quiet. They worked their pick. They got the 5v4. They just couldn't turn it into anything. It's actually kind of a buy right now. There's some money saved, but there's also an AK that they saved from last round. They're trying to buy slightly behind.
Oh, that one hurts. We got shrapnel in the kneecaps.
Good 100, 150 damage dealt to Redemption already. They're grouped up in the water with the bomb, moving into these.
Ooh, good timing on the flash there, Pank. Oh man, just continuous AUG spray down, and they don't stop him. Garden hoses it. Rafa, gonna get that last one. 2 op kills, 3 AUG frags, 6 rounds for W7M.
Looking like they're in a class of their own right now. That was, you know, you see two people coming out short, guys full blind on the back of the site. Literally can't see anything even before he starts spraying.
Yeah.
And they can't kill him.
Right.
That's a bad sign.
And he didn't have the good AUG spray control either. It was only once he regained vision that he, you know, pulled down enough.
You let it go up for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, 5, 6 bullets all go over the head. And
man was just making noise for a second. Suppressing fire. So
party rattler.
Yeah. I mean, you can call it tac pause, but there's not much you can do when you're not hitting shots.
Yep.
Gotta hit more shots.
Yeah, you're gonna need a longer pause. There's no DM pause.
That would be a new type of pause.
Yeah. We get a mid-round warm-up? No, that's not a thing.
Little hand warmer.
So let's move along into the 7th round now. Still, we've got ops up. That Molotov bursts in the sky like a firework.
Oh.
And speaking of fireworks, Rafa, he's going to connect the first one. Has Real just next to him. Very disruptive in shutting down this A setup from Redemption on the buy. They come off their pause. They try to challenge, and instead, oh, they all eat the dirt, dude. Pank, good spray down.
Got it. They're asking for very fast trades. They need to deliver on those trades. The CTs are pushing up aggressively. They are calling up the setup right away. Redemption don't seem aware that they can push balloons that quickly when that's a totally free timing. It's not like they abuse some super sick spawn. And in fact, there was the op that took the pick as well. So they need a little bit more awareness here. Better trading. Otherwise, they're going to get melted every single round. There's just so much money made here for W7M on these rifle rounds even. Let's see if the trade game can improve for Redemption. Let's start from there. Oof. Yikes. trip on a grenade. That's tough. You will have a boost come out. Oh.
How heavy do you think
That's-
grenades are?
Why is he a boost? Oh, okay. I was wondering what's going on underneath him. How heavy?
Yeah, like is that like taking like a shot put ball to the legs?
Oh,
or?
in real life?
Yeah.
Dude, you're the artillery guy. I had no idea.
Oh, I thought I was the sound effects guy.
You are the sound. You are the. You do a lot of things actually. It's kind of cool. But you know about guns. Doesn't that mean you also know about artillery?
No,
Oh, okay.
not an explosives expert.
Well, in this game, if you get hit by a grenade in the air, it's like you're getting hit by an Indiana Jones boulder.
You know, you'd think it has to be a good balance because if frag grenades in real life are just too heavy, like how do you expect me to throw that far? You know, my name is Scrawny,
That's a good point, man.
and
That's a little physics for you.
I want some velocity on my frag throws, but there's no more frags to be thrown down on that B site. In fact, there's no more Ts either. The last two come to join up Connector because while they were looking for their Deagle pick off the boost, we've had Redemption working their way through bathrooms, and no contest put up from W7M, who are content to sit in the bomb site. But by doing so, they're smoked out. They've lost their line of sight, and Frostzor's going to throw himself inside of the smoke. Looks to just body bag these CTs, and, well, they get that first kill. Despite the bomb being down, I mean, that's a small victory in a wave of defeat, so it seems. Rafa's op has managed one, and now Real's going to activate with that M4, so it's just a matter of cleaning up these last two Deagles, and it doesn't seem too difficult. 4 survivors for W7M, but Redemption still have their plan.
At least they got the plant. They got a nice little execute in there for some extra money. But W7M, no problem whatsoever. Stay confident. Lots of time to go for the... This is definitely the most one-sided game we've seen so far.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say, Connor. There was not a moment there where they felt like they were out of control. And they had plenty of time to defuse the bomb. So we'll have another full buy-up for Redemption. And we can talk about what they could do differently. I wouldn't mind if they tried getting into B again. There's basically every option somewhat viable. They just kind of need to follow through with the shots being hit.
Right.
Maybe if they go ahead, work on some stairs and mid and cat control, since it's lesser played by W7M. They don't seem like super adamant about holding onto it. Maybe go ahead and take that as free map control as a team, move into your execute from there. They can group up for this monster hit. So typically if you think the CTs might take it and you don't want to go cat, then just smoke it out before you get there. So throw the smoke down on cat, execute out monster, run up, clear out headshot with a Molotov, etc., and move in. Here they're going to walk out one flash. Nope, not even a flash. Molotov goes out a little bit late. Execution's already a bit fluffed.
Ooh, but a missed op shot from Rafa does open a door for Cryo. Pank's going to put his AUG to the top of the box.
Oh, this is going to smell like a mistake.
What about connector control? If Felipe gets this one, there you go, he's nailed it.
The bomb is on the left side of the B site, though.
Ooh, but he writes off Riot. And that could cost them. Now that short control becomes a thorn in their side, quite literally, and they can't even push far enough to deal with this. Just Cryo left over, and he gets his head blown off by Pank. 9-0 to the CT side.
So you can see that there was a mistiming, but it was such a small timing, but it's so important. Like if the Molotov lands a second earlier, he's forced to peek, that's great. But he was able to peek as the Molotov exploded while there were players coming out. Get that Molotov a couple of seconds to really roast that player that's sitting there. You know, make him force into a decision of to whether or not he wants to take 40 damage, or sit there for like 70 damage, then peek to get 1 kill, or just have him like run out all the way into a different spot, and then you can just get out onto the site. But yeah, they didn't really use that Molotov as best they could.
Yeesh. Runs through smokes. Real's just covering his teammates' retreat. Like a good lieutenant, he's the last to exit. And he even finds Ollie. Now Pank just gets dumped on.
What was that round? They just ran through the smoke. They didn't have a flash to come through the bathroom smoke. I was like, you run through one smoke? That's cool. You run through 2 smokes?
That's not cool.
That's not cool, man. That's not very cash money of you.
You better settle down. Ooh, but the totem pole? Does he get the eyes on Real? Doesn't seem so. Even despite him jumping. Oh no! Oh no! Poor Cryo, he's calling like, dude, I'm burning. Cad's like, stay. Stay. I can get this pick. And now he's gone and dropped bomb. So, Frostzor.
Don't move.
Yeah. It hurts.
Don't
Take
move.
it.
And it's 10-0 for W7M.
In 10 rounds.
Uh-huh.
Just putting that out there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, in
Nope.
10 rounds, they've only gotten 2 kills.
In 10 rounds, they've only gotten 1 bomb plant.
1 bomb plant, 13, 16, 17, 18 kills.
Hey, listen, what I like about this is that if W7M, okay, were actually challenged by Redemption here, I mean, Redemption, you're talking about a team who is ranked 241st in the entire world and took this tournament's invitation on a 2-day notice.
Right, yeah.
So it's
True.
not like they even had a chance to go into prep mode.
Yeah, good point.
And, all right, you're put into the group that's not as challenging, but what this is for me is just promising that W7M, after giving us kind of something to talk about yesterday, will be moving on, if they clear this series, to face Valiant in a BO3 decider.
No doubt.
And Valiant didn't look flawless. So if anything, you know, you want a lopsided losers decider, so you get a closer winners decider. And that's what we may have coming up later today.
There we go. Like you characterize that.
You know, you gotta find the diamonds in the rough.
Rank 241?
241st.
Wow. I feel
About
like
250.
The math probably falls apart a little bit once you get to like the super high ranks, in terms of like, results and stuff like that.
Who's
But I mean-
deciding who's 241st and 239th?
Are they sure about it?
Yeah,
How
like-
confident?
I mean, I trust HLTV, but no, that's the algorithm. It's the AI that decides.
The algorithm.
Our overlords. 11-0. The trek has continued. Could be the first 16-0.
Whoa!
Said it.
Yeah. Doesn't
I
matter.
said it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That's true. We have no impact on the outcome of this game. We're just the overlying commentary. You know?
That's
we,
right.
We think we have a connection to this match, but it really just happens independently of us.
Sure. I mean, things happen. We talk about them. We're reactive. We add on to it. This is a round where they've got 2 flashes, a Molotov to use, which is a little bit of utility. Good spray. Once again, Pank just like eats a flash, stays there spraying. I love that he doesn't run.
Doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Just lays down the lead. Puts him to rest. 12-0. Hits him with the grap-up-up-up.
Wow. I wonder if like W7M like knew they were gonna win this match. Like they were like, yeah, we're gonna win this match. Like it was over before it started.
Maybe they did know they'd win.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they didn't know this convincingly.
Right.
Right? Because if this was the most recent map that Redemption actually picked up over W7M, you know, you're thinking, oh, maybe we'll give up at least 5 rounds.
There's so much to
Not yet.
so much that Redemption can do. Just the problem, are they capable, you know? Outclassed on so many different levels. This is when it really sucks to be an IGL.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be an eco every other round. Very unfun. Plus no bomb plants as extra saves. You're always poor. Oh, this is rough. Rafa looking for the flash. Ah, interesting. Kind of a passive pick. Reels is going to be here to support, and there's no one to blind him, so I'll just go ahead and get that one for free. Another player will
There
peek
we
out.
go.
CAD comes out for the trade.
A response.
Yeah, that is nice. 4v4. Now they do have stairs control. There's so much utility they could have used to not get opt there. They could have put CAD in position, forced a re-peek, taken that pick for free. They kind of knew it was there, but they still just dry peeked it.
Shot through as smoke fades.
For W7M, they've seen this before. The work towards long.
Big flank.
Riots. About to backstab some fools.
Yeah, all 3 of them. I don't think anybody's watching.
Oh, yeah.
Go knife them all. Executes the first. He's even got the rock for cover. They're going to stand out in the open, and that's not where they should be. Ollie, 2 HP, falls to the Deagle at a distance. Frag grenade for added damage, and a 13th in a row. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. None of that.
You know, like fundamentally, they've seen the aggressive play at balloons before. They've seen the op and the rifle setup. It's not something that's unique to W7M. It's kind of just something that happens on Overpass. Redemption's map pick, by the way, so not just harping on for no reason. And then they don't flash off of it. They peek with a rifle. They have the op peek right after. That's fine after they lose a man, but they get that 4v4. Then they move into like their very standard long setup with 3 players. There's no There's no thought in W7M's mind that it's going to be some kind of fake. There's no reason to believe that. They have one lurker out in water. It's a little bit too standard, predictable.
Spam through Monster, trying to play off the flashbangs. YJ's having none of it.
Man, they still got some grenades, and they finally work on short control. So it looks like they want to move into maybe a smoke execute now.
Trying to redirect CT's fall back. Ooh, they could get caught in transition here. You can see them trying to like communicate.
Yeah, they're just moseying around at this point. It would be kind of hard to tell what they're trying to do because they didn't actually see the player they spammed. They didn't know how many players were outside of Monster. Reals is finally starting to get info on A, so Redemption not doing anything. They're just waiting, and now they're going to go B. And I think W7M know exactly what that means.
Right, because just like in the last round when Riots finds the opening down connector through T-spawn, you've just had Real this round push long A, clear out Fountain. So the entire time Redemption stays stagnant, W7M become more confident. They're so distracted with the Monster players, they don't expect Pank to have fallen back so convincingly. Bomb plant is an attempt, and the planter's now down. Falls on Frostzor 1v5 post plant, trying to break the goose egg, get a single round on the board. And he starts with a single kill, but that's all he finds. Real's flank activates, and 14 straight for W7M.
It would be kind of a shame if it wasn't a 16-0 at this point.
Right, we've gotten too close.
We've gotten too close, and it's like the most deserving 16-0 ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's some 16-0s are like, well, that was, they almost won some of the rounds. They almost got some of the clutches.
See, now the sad reality of getting 16-0 is starting to sink in when you see the players kind of laughing it off.
You just want one round, though.
Right.
Just want one round. Like, they're not thinking about winning anymore.
They started this game thinking, guys, we can upset on our map choice. And now it's, guys, we can get one, right?
We have to get a round. No, you start getting mad.
But you got a gun round, so let's see.
Okay.
And it always does fall onto that second pistol. Every 16-0 needs, it all falls onto
It's true.
the pistol.
The pistol,
And the pistols are
a little bit more random.
wild variables. Door swung,
those are
Rafa
nice, man.
snaps back.
This guy plays Quake, am I right?
Yeah, feels like it. DDK should rap about him. Ooh, there's the spray down. Good AUG shots. Headshot, Cryo finding no footing. Felipe watches flank.
Felipe gets the flank.
There we go.
We're on.
2 kills.
2v5.
This is the one.
Come on, baby.
This is the round. Or not. Pank covers his teammate whose head was on display. And FP1 now down.
50-0!
It's done it, but it all falls to the second pistol.
And you know that they want it so bad.
So, we'll make you wait, folks. The temptation's there. It's tantalizing, but first, have a break. Redemption's map choice not quite going the way they'd hope. 15-0 for W7M on that CT side. But with every 15-0, there's always a silver lining. Plenty of room for improvement.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Connor. Yeah, there's a lot of ways that they can improve from what they've done in the first half. Now it could potentially start right here. They've got another pistol round.
Oh, he saw his shoulder.
Potentially their last chance. Oh no, it's 5v4. W7M 5v4, 15-0.
They're sweating bullets.
Oh my god.
Cryo's just gonna hide. He's like, I want out. I want out of this server.
And Pank's got a kill too. It's 5v3.
But Ollie has the response. Oh, a second headshot. Give us a third. It's Rafa close, and Rafa falls back.
Yeah, he looked like you.
Now the CTs have a health advantage.
Ooh.
The goose egg could be cracked.
Pank is out here though.
Yeah.
Really out here.
Pank smoked in the midst of the B site. This is a 3v2 on the bomb site. Again, health advantage to the CTs, and they have that rotator flank, but oh, it's Ollie. He's gonna have to need the pistol ace. A pistol ace to deny the 16-0. There's the third, dropping the bomb into the water.
No health.
Oh, he can do this.
They can go A though, and they've got to start running. They're out of there.
Oh man.
It's happening.
What a wild ride. And none of us can get off. 20 kills for Pank. Bomb plant towards bank.
Bomb has been planted.
And about 60 HP combined for the remaining members of the T's.
Time ticks down. Last hope for your team.
Oh, there's a chance. There's a chance at separate 1v1s.
Yeah.
It's not the best of crossfires, but oh, there it is.
There it is.
DreamHack Rio's first 16-0. And the crowd goes wild, Launders. Brazilians pick up map 1.
I was here, Connor.
Yeah.
I was here.
We were... Yeah, no, there's always laughs and jokes with 16-0s, but then there's the sad realization that 5 guys
That did happen to somebody.
just had the worst experience of their lifetime.
That is pretty rough.
So, yeah.
There's always next map.
Commiserations for map 1.
Well, yeah, for map 1, yeah, there's still the series.
And we can move on to map 2. That is going to be Inferno. Oh boy, I forgot, Launders. What have I gone and done? A blunder. It's Inferno. Yes, I was correct. And then Mirage if needed. But we may or may not need map 3. Maybe it's just to get their guard down. Who knows? Who knows? Folks, you're not going to want to miss it because it could be another 16-0. Inferno next.